The rain fell like a soft, steady song against the windows of Clover's diner, a melody that echoed the melancholic tune in Emma's heart. The aroma of coffee and frying bacon hung in the air, mingling with the scent of petrichor that drifted in with each gust of wind. It was one of those late evenings where the sun had surrendered long ago and the neon glow of the diner sign cast an inviting glow on the rain-slicked pavement. Emma hummed along to the radio, her hands resting lightly on the counter. Her reflection stared back at her, a young woman with hair the color of wheat and eyes that mirrored the endless sky above. She was a creature of habit, comfortable in the predictability of her days, balanced between the sizzle of the grill and the chatter of regulars. Yet tonight, as she surveyed the empty booths, a familiar ache tugged at her. There was a piece of her story that was missing, a quiet corner of her heart that yearned for something she couldn't quite name. She was lost in thought when the familiar chime of the door broke through her reverie. She turned to see a woman stepping inside, shaking droplets from her leather jacket like a painter shedding watercolors from her brush. Her auburn hair clung to her cheeks like autumn leaves, and her green eyes, sharp and curious, scanned the room before settling on Emma. There was a hint of a smile playing on her lips, and in that moment, Emma's heart did a little dance, a surprise jig in the orchestra of her emotions. "Hi," the woman said, her voice like a melody. "Is the kitchen still open for you?" "Always," Emma replied, her grin mirroring the woman's own. Startled by her sudden boldness, Emma scribbled on her notepad, "What can I get you?" The woman's eyes twinkled. "Soup, and maybe a reason to stay until the rain stops." Emma laughed, a sound she hadn't heard herself make in what felt like forever. The music swelled, urging her feet to move towards the counter where the kettle sang its comforting song. As Emma prepared the soup, her thoughts raced, trying to match the quick tempo of her heart. She ladled the steaming broth into a bowl, the aroma filling her senses and chasing away the chill of the evening. Each step she took towards the woman was a beat in the dance of anticipation. She placed the bowl on the table and introduced herself, "Emma." The woman took a sip of the soup, her eyes half closed in appreciation. "Lena," she replied, savoring the name on her lips. They talked for hours, the rain outside becoming a soft lullaby. They discussed art, dreams, and the poetry hidden in everyday moments. Lena shared stories of city skylines and quiet mountain trails, of cobblestone streets and foreign cafes where she learned to waltz with a stranger. Each tale wove magic in the air, making the ordinary feel extraordinary. Emma, in turn, confessed her secret dreams of owning a bakery, a place where the scent of fresh bread would mingle with laughter and the clink of teacups. With each shared dream, the connection between them deepened, their laughter echoing in the cozy confines of the diner. As the diner emptied and the clock ticked closer to closing time, a bittersweet feeling settled over Emma. The impending goodbye hung in the air like the last notes of a fading melody. But before the final chord could strike, Lena spoke. "Emma, tonight's been unexpected." "Yeah," Emma breathed, her eyes fixed on the swirling steam rising from her untouched soup. "Unexpected," she repeated, the word hanging between them like a shared secret. A beat of silence fell, broken only by the rhythmic drumming of the rain. Then Lena rose from her seat, her shadow falling across the table like a caress. She reached out, tucking a stray strand of damp hair behind Emma's ear. The touch lingered, sending shivers down Emma's spine. "I hate to be forward," Lena began, her voice barely a whisper, "but I'd like to see you again." "If that's all right with you, of course." Emma's heart did a joyful jig, yet her voice betrayed her elation, betraying her true feelings with a dissonant note. "Of course," she managed, surprised by the catch in her own voice. They exchanged numbers, their fingers meeting in a silent promise, and Emma watched Lena disappear into the rain-washed night. As the door chimes faded, Emma's world seemed brighter, as if the rain had washed away the gray and revealed a spectrum of colors she'd never noticed before. The diner, once just a backdrop to her daily routine, now resonated with the echoes of their shared laughter and the lingering warmth of Lena's touch. Sleep that night was a distant visitor, choosing to linger in the realm of dreams instead. The walls of her bedroom seemed to shrink, the confines of her bed transformed into a stage where memories of the previous night danced in vivid technicolor. She tossed and turned, the cotton sheets tangled around her limbs like vines in a storybook. In her dreams, she found herself in a bustling marketplace, the air thick with the scent of exotic spices and the murmur of countless languages. She navigated winding alleys lined with merchants selling wares from far-off lands, and then she saw him standing amidst the crowd, his silhouette framed by the setting sun, beckoning her closer. She wanted to call out to her, but no sound escaped her lips. She woke up with a gasp, her heart pounding like a drum solo in a forgotten symphony. The morning light streamed through her window, painting stripes of gold on her ceiling. She sat up, rubbing sleep from her eyes, wondering if the magic of the previous night had been nothing more than a figment of her imagination. Yet the memory of Lena's touch lingered on her skin like a phantom limb, a reminder of something real and vibrant. The day crawled by, each tick of the clock a metronome keeping time with her impatience. She found herself humming tunes from the old jukebox, the melody blending seamlessly with the rhythm of her heartbeat. By the time the evening shadows stretched long, she was ready. She smoothed down her dress, a simple blue number that had hung untouched in her closet for months. It was a shade that mirrored the depths of her eyes, a color she'd never noticed before. When the diner doors chimed, her head snapped up, a wild hope blossoming in her chest. There she stood, a vision in the soft lamplight, her hair a cascade of burnished copper, her eyes sparkling with life. A smile touched her lips, lighting up her face like a beacon in the gathering dusk. "Hey," Lena greeted, her voice a soothing melody. "Sorry I'm late. That client can be such a pain sometimes." No, I just got here myself," Emma replied, her heart doing a happy jig. "Can I get you anything to drink?" "Water's fine," Lena answered, taking a seat. "How was your day?" They talked for hours, the easy flow of conversation accompanied by the soft hum of the diner's neon lights. Lena spoke of challenges at work, of dreams deferred and aspirations that refused to be contained. Emma listened, captivated not just by the words, but by the passion that radiated from Lena's every sentence. It was during one of Lena's pauses that Emma realized she was holding her breath. Slowly, she exhaled, the sound barely audible, yet it was enough to break the spell. She cleared her throat, a blush warming her cheeks. "Emma, I have something for you," Lena said, reaching into her bag. Emma's heart skipped a beat, wondering if the dreams in her head were seeping into reality. Lena pulled out a worn paperback, its pages dog-eared and its cover slightly faded. "I found this today," she explained. "It reminded me of you." Emma took the book, her fingers brushing against Lena's. The contact sent a jolt through her, and she quickly pulled away, her heart thudding in her chest. As she opened the book, she saw a pressed wildflower nestled between its pages. It was a daisy, its white petals surrounding a golden center, much like the sun radiating through her window that afternoon. A post-it note was attached to the flower, and when she removed it, the words jumped out at her, "For the girl who makes my world a little brighter." Tears pricked at Emma's eyes, blurring the ink that confessed Lena's feelings. In that moment, surrounded by the comforting aroma of the diner, the worn pages of the book, and the pressed daisy whispering tales of sunshine, Emma knew she wasn't dreaming. This was real. With trembling hands, she looked up at Lena, her heart echoing the rhythm of the rain on the windowpane. "Lena," she whispered, the name a prayer on her lips. Lena's gaze was unwavering, a steady drumbeat in the orchestra of Emma's emotions. She leaned in, her eyes searching Emma's, and in that silent communion, Emma found the courage to reach out. Their fingers intertwined, and in the soft glow of the diner, they held on to each other, two souls finding solace and strength in the gentle rain and the quiet hum of Clover's diner.